Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Tailored Expressions. I am super excited to share the new Star-Spangled Banner stamp, and I'm going to show you how I did some easy and quick distressing. So here is the Land That I Love stamp set, and there's coordinating dies for that, along with the Star-Spangled Banner stamp set. Then I'm going to be using sugar cube cardstock, also some 3D foam squares, and then I've got some inks here. I will be using Cherry Pop, Blue Corn, Toffee, and I did not use sugar cube or mocha in this picture here. And I also used a brayer for the distressing. So I'm going to start with the Star-Spangled Banner stamp set. I have a piece of not 5 by 7, A2 size, excuse me, sugar cube cardstock that I'm putting into my MISTI. And I'm lining up the stamp towards the top of my card panel. I will trim this down just a little bit. I'm also going to bring in some low-tack tape and just mask off these stripes. I just want to come in with the blue corn ink and ink up the star area. Now you'll notice when I stamp it down that it's not going to be a perfectly solid image. I actually want it this way, so I'm not worried about stamping it again to make sure that that blue is solid. If I wasn't going to be doing any distressing, I would ink it again, making sure I have a nice solid background. Now I'm taking some more tape, masking off the stars, and coming in with Cherry Pop ink and inking up the stripes. Again, not super worried if there are some spots that are not going to get inked up, because I want this to have a distressed look, so the stamping itself is going to look distressed. Now I have the brayer, and I'm using Toffee ink and just putting that on the brayer, and I'm just going to run this over my cardstock. And as you can see, it's going to add a nice look of distressing to this. I love how this card turned out. I love this stamp set, the Star-Spangled Banner stamp. What a great image. I mean, what a fantastic flag image. And so I wanted to do a little something different, which is why I decided to do some distressing. So now you can see I ran that brayer over it, and I love the look that the brayer gives it, rather than just doing like some ink blending with a brush. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit, it'll be about 1/8 of an inch on all sides. Then I'm going to come back in and do a little bit more distressing. I thought it would be fun to do like some old school distressing by adding the ink pad to the edges. So again, this is still the Toffee ink. I thought I was going to use the mocha at the beginning and the sugar cube at the beginning of the video, but I ended up not using those two. So this is just the Toffee, running it across the edges just a little bit to give it just more character. Then I decided to stamp the Toffee ink onto my glasswork surface. I added the tiniest bit of water and a brush, and I am just going to do some splatters on the background. And as you can see, this is looking even better. When I'm done splattering this, and I was deciding on another color, so in the meantime, I decided to add a little bit more of the brayer look to the background with the Toffee. I just felt like I wanted a little bit more of some dark areas, so I didn't go over the whole thing. I just kind of went over some edge pieces. So like this little edge here, and then at the top part of the card, just a little bit there. And I felt like that was perfect. Then I decided to bring in the blue corn and do some splatters with that, and I'm so glad I did, because I think that turned out really, really, really nice. So I'm just going to finish splattering this. Then I'm going to bring in another like old school technique with the scissors. I opened up the scissors and I'm just running it along the edge of the paper just to rough up the edges, and I feel like this totally made this card. But again, this is super simple, easy distressing. And I think this was a great image to do so if you didn't want to do something super traditional with just like the red, white, and blue. And so those little edges are nice and frayed, which I think looks really, really good. Now let's stamp the sentiment. This is the Land That I Love stamp set. I'm using the Stars and Stripes Forever sentiment. I'm going to stamp that with blue corn ink and then use the coordinating dies to die cut that out. Now out of my stash, I pulled out a sentiment from the Simple Strips Birthday that I've already stamped and die cut before. I'd stamped it with Oreo ink and used the coordinating Simple Strips die with that. That sentiment says, "Let the celebration begin." So I've adhered that panel to a white A2 size card base with sugar cube card base, and I like the white behind it because it kind of pops. So I also stamped that sentiment. Both sentiments are on sugar cube cardstock. I am coming in with the 3D foam squares. I trimmed them down and put them behind the images, so both of the sentiments will be popped up with some foam tape. And I'm just going to put those in place. Now, I did not distress this white part of this cardstock. I actually liked that it popped off of the background. So this card is completely done. Like I said, super simple and easy distressing with these great Star-Spangled Banner image. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this project. Thank you so much for watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.